Thompson with TAAN TV, the African American Network, where we have a local feel with a global reach, and you're tuned into a wonderful, wonderful afternoon show. We're going to be dedicating this show to um, people that are interested in aviation. And so we have two fabulous young ladies that are going to tell us a little bit about why they're here, what they do, and what we can expect in San Antonio. We have an exciting conference coming up, and we have two ladies on here that are affiliated with an organization called AMAC and the San Antonio Airport. So welcome, ladies.
Thank you.
Thank you, Laura.
Right. So I want to start with Ebony Winbush. She is the president and CEO of the Airport Minority Advisory Council, which is AKA AMAC. So thank you for joining us today. And could you give us a little bit of information on who you are, what you do, and why you do it?
Absolutely. Well, again, thank you for the opportunity to join the TAN network. Again, my name is Ebony Wimbush, and I have the honor and privilege of serving as the president and CEO of AMAC, a organization that is unlike any other organization. It is indeed the only national nonprofit trade association that focuses on the advocacy of women and minorities in aviation. Our mission is twofold and has two pillars, one on employment opportunities. And so can't wait to hear from Karen because um, one of the things that we advocate for are people like Karen, people like the airport director in San Antonio, Jesus Sanz, people of color and women to ascend to these positions within an industry that has so many opportunities. And then the second pillar is on the contracting side, making sure that this trillion-dollar industry, that women and minorities have an opportunity to create wealth, to have economic equity and access. So why do I get up and do what I do every day? I think to whom much is given, much is required. And so I am a child of aviation. I actually went to Embry-Riddle Aeronautical University, and I was exposed to aviation at an early age and just really fell in love with it. And people poured into me. And that's why I sit where I sit today. And so I do what I do to ensure that I create opportunities, whether it be in employment or contracting opportunities for women, for minorities, just to again be a part of this beloved aviation industry. And so, thank you, Laura, for allowing us to come and talk a little bit about the conference, the organization. And I'm going to turn it back over to perhaps Karen to talk a little bit about who she is and why she's involved, because she is one of our board members and the chair of the conference planning committee.
Wow,
Karen.
what an awesome responsibility. Hi, Karen. How are you?
I'm doing very well. Thank you again for having us today. Again, my name is Karen Ellis, and my day job, I'm the Chief Customer Experience Officer for the San Antonio Airport System. And I also serve, as Ebony mentioned, as a National Conference Planning Chair and at-large board member for AMAC. It is something that I truly enjoy. It's one of those things where it's just in your blood to be able to do it. We're super excited to be hosting the conference in San Antonio, the 38th annual conference in San Antonio, at the beautiful JW Marriott Hill Country Resort and Spa. So I don't want to steal any more thunder. I'd like to introduce my director, Jesus Sanz, to give him an opportunity to share his feelings. And then if you want to come back to me, I'm happy to give you some more information.
All right, thank you, Karen. And this is the man that is the head of the airport. He has the most responsibility for making sure that people are transported in and out of San Antonio. So welcome, Mr. Science. He's the director of the airports, the San Antonio airport system. How are you?
Good morning, ladies. Good morning, everyone.
Good morning.
I think with all that responsibility comes a ton of meetings. So my apologies because I feel like I have to be in 10 places at one time. But, that's the beauty of what we do and why we do what we do. Could not be more excited for the opportunity to have this partnership with everything that we're doing with AMAC. And, you know, one might say, well, yeah, there's a lot of glitz and glamour that comes with it and what we're doing, but really, I like what Ebony just said. We do this because it's about making a difference. It's about giving back. I've spent, pretty close to 30 years of my career in the aviation industry. Prior to that, I was with United Parcel Service. And throughout my entire career, I've had three really guiding principles to everything that I do: do my best, do what's right, and then, that golden, beautiful rule of, do unto others as you would want others to do unto you. And as we frame up everything that we do day in and day out, whether it's, the hundreds of millions of dollars that are being spent at the San Antonio International Airport, whether it's the 2.5 million passengers that are moving across the country every day, whether it's the 45,000 direct or indirect jobs that we have specifically at San Antonio International Airport. I can go on and on with these stats, but at the end of the day, how are we providing an opportunity for others, to also be engaged, be involved, and above all, provide a pathway for them to begin their successful path, their successful passage. Each of us, I think, I know Ebony and Karen incredibly well, and I know their histories, and each of us had to, break down some walls. We all had to work hard to get where we're at. None of it came easy. And how do we begin to establish some of those efforts, for, as we talk about diversity, equity, and inclusion, with no barriers for everyone to have an opportunity to participate. And if they're not, familiar, if they require, knowledge, if they require training, how are we providing them the framework to begin to move in that direction? I've been given a ton of opportunity in my career. I could not be more grateful for the position that I am in. I could not be more grateful for the 400 plus employees that work at the San Antonio International Airport, probably one of the most diverse groups of employees you will ever see, that work tirelessly day in and day out. And everyone says, Jesus, why do you do this? It's for them, right? I think of that every day and the people that I represent to ensure that we're providing the best level of service and we're providing above all opportunity for people to continue to grow. So thank you all for allowing me to be here today. And, I'm elated to be here with both Ebony and Karen, and thank you all for having us.
Wow, and thank you so much for coming to hang out with us for a little bit on a Saturday. I know you have a very, very busy schedule, and so thank you for taking time to just stop by and inform us on the great work that you are doing at the San Antonio Airport.
And Laura, I have to say this because we've been working alongside San Antonio to plan this conference, I feel like for more than a year, but at least a year. And one of the things that I read about the culture of San Antonio and the leadership under the leadership of Jesus was really the people matter, right? And really pouring into the people and how they provide service, how they partner, how they team. And I just have to say that San Antonio team, starting with Jesus and Karen, they have been nothing but a pleasure to work with. We've been working really hard to plan something very special for San Antonio, special for the local economy, special for the greater region there and San Antonio airport system and the team. Um, this is a top-notch team. So we talk about employment, right? I talked about that as one of the pillars. I'm certain there are lots of jobs available. It's a great place to work because there are great leaders in place, like both Jesus and Karen, and I sincerely mean that.
Yeah, thank
Wow.
you. I totally agree with that, Ebony. Working under Jesus, he allows us to be ourselves, which is amazing to me. He didn't put his finger on me. He just wants me to update him and let him know what's going on. And when I initially said that we're bringing AMAC to San Antonio, he's like, okay, well, make it happen. And I am excited because we are only 6 days away from this fabulous 5-day conference that we will be hosting here in San Antonio. We have every day is packed with some sort of either networking opportunity, training opportunity, um, just for people to understand how to do business with airports for women and minorities, small businesses. Um, one of my favorite events for during the conference is our Project Lift event. We'll bring in 100 local students to give them an opportunity to hear about aviation and how to, what aviation careers are, and let them have an opportunity to get their hands and feet wet with playing in the aviation space. This event will be held down at Boeing Techport, which, if you know anything about San Antonio, you know that's an amazing facility. First of all, we're going to have drone simulations. It's just going to be so much. It's not one of those things where you sit and you talk to the kids. They're actually, again, going to get their hands and feet wet on doing things, because what we want to do is instill in them early on information about the aviation industry. Oftentimes we've gone to schools, high schools, and we say, hey, what do you think, what kind of jobs do you think are at airports? And the first thing they say is, oh, a pilot or a flight attendant are the only jobs at the airports. But airports are many cities, and most of them don't have that kind of exposure. And so we have some exciting things, and I don't even know if well, I know I haven't shared this with Jesus and or Ebony. They will have an opportunity, because we received some amazing sponsorships, but one sponsor has agreed to allow them to go up in a helicopter ride for a 15-minute ride around the city, which is going to blow their minds, because a lot of these, we're coming from different areas of the city, but most of them have either never been to an airport, have never had that experience. So for them to spend a day at Techport going through aviation, and then the culmination of them being able to get on a helicopter and fly around the city, we're hoping that will spark their interest early in aviation, because we're not going to be here all, for a long period of time. So we're bringing up that next group of individuals that can take on the lead for us in the aviation space. It is so much fun, and we want to make sure that they get exposed to it early to make those decisions as they're going through their lives.
Wow, that's awesome. So while you're talking about the young people, I understand that you all have a scholarship program where you provide scholarships for students that are interested in aviation. Could you tell us a little bit about that?
I am happy to do that. This year, we will be giving away a record-breaking dollar number of scholarships, over $135,000 in scholarships, and
That's
some of
awesome.
them will be to local San Antonio students. So I'm excited about that as well. It's over 60 recipients that will be receiving these scholarships, and again, San Antonio is going to, go on record as being the first airport, or the first time the conference has had sponsorships, donations to this level. So $135,000 is amazing. We will have some of those students that will be participating in the conference. So yeah, excited about that.
Wow, that is awesome.
Ebony?
So
Yeah,
Ebony,
I wanted to just add a little bit, because Karen is right? Like, we're there, we're going to expose students, hopefully pique their interest. But as an organization, I wanted to just talk a little bit about AMAC, because it's the conference will raise money for those students, and it will have a lot of opportunities, business opportunities. So for example, San Antonio, the airport has, what is it, Jesus? Is it $2 billion worth of development projects coming up?
Yeah, as we embark on the new total program, over the next 20 years, we'll spend over $2 billion just working on developing the airport.
So we need engineers, we need leadership through AMAC's Foundation. AMAC's Foundation, the organization was formed about 38 years ago. And then about 13 years after that, 1997, the foundation was formed. And we really have a dedicated group of board of directors raising money, developing programming. Over the course of the history of the organization, the foundation, we've given more than $500,000 away. And again, as Karen said, this is a record year, but we can't just say, we want to peak interest. We've got to put our money where our mouths are, right? Because that's what people did for us, right?
Yeah,
They believed in us and gave us a chance and
true.
probably sponsored us in some way. And so really excited that the young people of San Antonio, they may not, they may not ever see a Karen as a chief experience officer in a major airport or a Jesus as an airport director, but our representation matters and
Absolutely.
support matters. And so through our foundation and some of the events that we'll highlight it at the conference, we'll have, as a part of the conference, we have a Catalyst Awards and a scholarship luncheon. And so as Karen said, it will highlight the scholarships that are given, including some to local children. So really excited for just the breadth of activities. And then, there's a learning. I see a question in the chat, and it talks about, how do you learn a bit more about being a DBE, which is a disadvantaged business enterprise, or ACDBE, airport concession disadvantaged business enterprise. And there are going to be lots of opportunities during the conference. There's going to be opportunities to learn, but also opportunities to network. I think a really great opportunity for local people to engage as they get started and learn is to come to the business matchmaking session. It is on Monday, June the 12th. Did I get that right, Karen? June the 12th. And we will have over 300 people participating in that event, both organizations that have opportunities, organizations, prime companies that are looking for minority-owned businesses. We will also have workshops, obviously, to learn, individual sessions. We're partnering actually with San Antonio MBDA Center and the SBTRC. And now somebody's going to say, well, what does all that stand for?
Right.
ABCDEFG.
I like to
Hey,
know.
Sue, what does all of those letters stand for? I'm going to come back to you. Minority Business Development Agency. I do know that. And I believe it's the San Antonio Small Business Transportation Resource Center. But they're partnering with us to deliver content on how to get certified. And I want to give Jesus an opportunity to talk a little bit about that and the importance of that for the airport. But there'll be lots of opportunities to learn, to engage, to, if you have businesses out there, present your business and the service that you provide.
Thanks for that, Ebony. I will just add a couple of comments. As you can see, these two women have no shortage of information with where we're heading. They take it and they go. And from my standpoint, when I look at it from a very high level perspective. And if I may, you look at where opportunity is going to collide with interest. And as we talk about all of these things, these are incredible collisions that are happening that are benefiting, everyone across the board. And I'll just share with you a couple of examples to what Ebony just talked about. I'll talk to you a little bit about the development program and why that's going to provide more opportunity as well. But I'll start first and foremost with one of the smallest ones that is near and dear to my heart. We just took it to council this past week. We had an opportunity for, someone to start a small restaurant at, Stinson Municipal Airport, the second oldest, airport in the nation here in San Antonio. small little place, but wow, what the impact. What a collision when you talk about, interest colliding with opportunity. So we provided someone an opportunity to start, a restaurant there. They're serving breakfast, lunch, and dinner 7 days a week. And who are they doing it with? They're doing it with local youth in the community and providing them an opportunity to work there on the south side of San Antonio to learn with aircraft less than 200 feet away that are taking off and landing. So the aviation piece is there. Whether you're learning how to start a business, whether you're learning how to be a chef, or whether you're sitting there and understanding the financing of how all of this happens, these young children are being exposed to this at a very early age. So that's one that we just recently, put in place. And I watched some of those kids, and you can't help but look at, the glow in their eyes of I'm a part of something, and I've got a pathway to where I'm going. When we talk about this opportunity, it's a bridge where we're connecting them, and then that takes them to the next step. And then another one that I think is, really, really near and dear to everything that we do as well as we talk about, AMAC and what AMAC means to San Antonio. We just hired a minority woman-owned business that was a sub to a prime to oversee all of our marketing efforts here at San Antonio International Airport. They were a sub for a long time, and they, competed, and they were able to successfully take on this opportunity. And they oversee everything as it relates to marketing, communications, and public relations for the San Antonio International Airport. So we're starting an incredible venture with them, and a number of things that are coming forward. So as we talk about those two, and back to the question, how do I learn a little bit about DBE, ACDBE, participation in the source? We held an industry day. We expected 250, and we were well over 450 people that came to that event. And that was a matchmaking session for small businesses, minorities, everyone to become a part and understand what that looks like. If you want to be a DBE participant, if you want to be an ACDBE participant, how does that happen? We had all of our small business groups from our business affairs groups there, ready and willing to answer questions to help them. And it was an incredible day. So as we embark on this new terminal development program, there's going to be a number of different offerings that are going to be available. And everyone's going to have an opportunity to participate, as they begin to identify who they want to work with and what they want to do. So that's really where, we're making a difference. As Ebony says, hey, we're getting funding, we're getting this, but we got to make a difference too. And I just share with everyone so that those are just two recent examples of how we're truly making a difference.
Wow. So that is awesome. So I wanted to go to Ebony just for a minute to find out why and how you came about selecting San Antonio for the site for your conference this year.
Well, I am going to turn it over to Karen, and I'm going to tell you why. So I told you at the very beginning, I had the honor and privilege of serving, and I've been in this role a little bit more than a year and a half. In San Antonio, and the partnership that we have with San Antonio existed much longer, and certainly before me, and the decision was made. My board chair is Ricky Smith, and he is the CEO of Baltimore Washington International Airport in the Washington, D.C. area. And so I'll let Karen tell the story, but I'll tell you this. Texas, San Antonio is an important region for AMAC. Karen or Jesus could better give the statistic, but I do recall that San Antonio is majority minority. And as an organization, we look to partner with cities and with areas that have our constituents, right? I told you that our mission was focused on women and minorities and advocating in both employment and contracting. And so, though I wasn't here, and Jesus and Karen can tell the story, it seems fitting, right? It seems fitting that we, based on the mission and who we are, would partner with the city that has such rich culture, right? And has such diversity, right? To ensure that that target market that we're looking for really is exposed to and has the opportunity to compete. So, but I'll turn it over to Jesus and to Karen to tell the story because it was before I got here.
So thank you, Ebony, for that. For me, I'm a long range thinker. And I knew what San Antonio had in store, what was coming down the pike for us. And I thought it would be a perfect opportunity for us to expose other cities and other regions with what San Antonio has to offer. And I know what we have to offer. That was one. And then the second thing is, I just asked, I said, hey, San Antonio will be happy to host the conference in 2023. And so I had not even spoken with Jesus about it. Just put it out there. They were like, "Okay, well, you're the planning chair. You're gonna make it happen." And so when I went back to Jesus, and he said, "Okay." His favorite saying is, "Our house is your house. Mi casa is your su casa." So he said, "If you're gonna make it happen, you got my full support, and the rest is history."
Yeah, I would just add on a little bit to Ebony's comment as it relates to why this is so important. As I give you some of the examples of the impacts that we've already made here in San Antonio with providing opportunities and building bridges for people to get to their accomplishment that they're striving for. You know, we can go on and on about the history of Texas. I too come from some very humble beginnings, born in Laredo, Texas. So as I mentioned to you in my prefacing comments, I was given an opportunity to be able to be in the position that I am today because others gave me opportunities. And that's really what this is about. And you think about the makeup of San Antonio, 70%, Hispanic, Latino culture that's there in San Antonio. It's a big impact for them. And they want to understand more and more of what this means and how do we improve them. Could not be more pleased to work under the city manager and the administration that we work for, the mayor and the city council that we work for. We've got a number of events that we're going to be having this week. The mayor is going to be participating, the city manager is going to be participating, and council members will be participating. So we're excited about this entire opportunity because it's really a representation and a reflection of not only who San Antonio is, but where San Antonio is going.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
Wow, that's awesome. So as we wrap this up, I want to give everyone an opportunity to tell a little bit about what's going to be happening at the conference, why they should come. We've had some individuals ask, are locals invited? I know that before we started, you have a sold out or to capacity event right now. But we're just so excited that you are coming to San Antonio, that you selected San Antonio as a place to garner support and involve minorities in such a big project like the Air Force and aviation community all over the country. And so I guess, Ebony, can you kind of tell us, kind of wrap it up?
Yeah, I will. And I'd love to give Karen the opportunity to have the last word because she's hosting us.
Right.
So thank you, Laura, first of all. Thank you for this opportunity and for the viewers out there. We look forward to welcoming you at the 38th Annual Airport Minority Business Diversity Conference. So we'll be there June the 10th through the 14th. And there is as Karen said, there are workshops, there's business matchmaking. We're raising money through a golf tournament for our foundation. There'll be a host of activities going on, and the business matchmaking is not sold out. And so really it's a great opportunity to come and network. And then actually as a part of that, you get to come to some of the welcome events. And so I would say there are 4 days that we'll spend, but this is just the beginning. And I'd encourage you to learn more about AMAC at www.amac-org.com. We have virtual events. Actually, we will be having later on in the summer another event in Texas, in Austin. So it won't be our first and last stop in San Antonio. It won't be our first and last stop in Texas. We have a local chapter that is forming in Texas. And so we encourage you to come out, take part in the activities, take part in the learning, take part in the networking, and then continue to learn more. I mean, we're doing this because we want to ensure that $2 billion, $2+ billion that is going to be spent to redevelop San Antonio, that minorities have an opportunity there. We want to make sure that when Jesus goes off into retirement one day and Karen goes off into retirement one day, that there are more women and minorities that are in the pipeline to fill those jobs. And so again, we look forward to welcoming everyone there. And we look forward to you continuing to partner and stay with us as we deepen relationships, as we look to build capacity, as we look to create opportunities. Karen?
Thank you, Ebony, and thank you, Laura. Really appreciate it, but I would be remiss if I take the last word and not give it to my director. So Jesus, I would love for you to have the last word on what this means to us to host this conference.
Well, I'm just elated to be, involved with everything that we're doing, and it's really simple for me. Karen kind of stole my thunder a little bit. From our standpoint, our house is your house. Nuestra casa. We welcome everyone, to San Antonio. I think that's the beauty of the entire leadership in the city of San Antonio, who we stand for. You look at the history, the diversity, and the culture that San Antonio has stood on for many, many years, and what it means to the state of Texas, what it means to North America and into Mexico. An incredible opportunity for more and more business opportunities and expansion. So from our standpoint, come one, come all, we welcome you to San Antonio.
Wow. So thank y'all so much for joining us today and giving us an update and a brief on what individuals can expect from the AMAC conference. I'm going as we close out. Ebony has provided me with a video that recapped San Antonio so that we can create some excitement and energy for individuals that are going to be joining us in San Antonio. But thank you so much for hanging out with us for a little bit. And we look forward to the conference coming up. It's going to be exciting. So check out what they did in Chicago.
Welcome to AMAC in Chicago. On behalf of URW Airports, we're excited to be here. AMAC is about partnerships and all of us working together so we can make a real difference.
Redefining aviation opportunities means changing the mindset, looking at a paradigm shift, real wealth creation, equity, and access for minorities. We have momentum because members have engaged back into AMAC. We're a resilient organization, and with the leadership team I have, with our corporate sponsors like URW, we have nothing but progress, success, and opportunity ahead for our members.
We are absolutely honored and thrilled to be hosting AMAC this year, redefining aviation opportunities together. I hope everyone uses this opportunity to network, and really get out there. And, we're going to see the impacts of this conference hopefully for years to come in increasing and looking through the lens of equity.
It's a good matchmaking session happening here in Chicago, where the decision makers and the businesses can come, they can meet, they can talk and have real conversation. If we can start that conversation, but make real steps towards participation, that is the only way we will truly see change and shift, and something that will lead to future growth and economic equity.
We're changing mindset, starting with CEOs within the airport industry, within our ecosystem, and ensuring that leaders leverage their power, their position, and their authority to help drive and change that mindset.
Relationships in this community, in the ACDB community, is really everything. It's not only about learning from one another, about building bridges, connecting the dots, etc. A lot of these deals are relationship-based deals, and the fact that we are hosting and we're able to be the conduit of those relationships is special to me. It's definitely special to CDA and special to the city.
It's going to be the best conference ever, not because this is the best city, but because you are going to make relationships here, and you're going to meet friends, meet business partners, meet associates, so that 10 years from now, 5 years from now, 2 years from now, you will be successful, you will have opportunities, all because you met them here in Chicago. And that's why this is going to be the best conference ever!
So thank you, everyone. You've been tuned into TAAN TV, the African American Network, where we have a local feel with a global reach. And we've been here with a phenomenal team that's going to be bringing AMAC to the AMAC Conference to San Antonio. It's action-packed, and we hope you enjoy it. So thank you all for coming out and hanging out on your Saturday to inform San Antonio about what's to come.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.